Hi there, everybody. This is Amber Hawkins. Your Computer Needs a Tulio LLC celebrating 10 years of computer training and more that comes to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Apologize. I think Blab is trying to tell me something, but I love it. I'm going to keep working with it. Technology difficulties, they do happen, but I want to bring a subject matter, one I did like a while back, like some years ago. But I want to try to bring some fresh information quickly, and that's about small business certifications, what they don't tell you. I'm talking about from a computer technology side. So this is part one. Again, won't be long. Just want to make sure I bring up some of the information. One of the things that you need to realize as far as small business certifications, what's the definition of small business? In some situations, they may say it's under 500 people or under 500 employees. Some will say it's under a higher number, maybe under 5,000 employees or something like that. Check to make sure of that definition, because one entity will say this definition about small business, another entity will say something else about a small business as far as size is concerned. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what type of small business certification are you trying to apply for? Are you trying to apply for a woman-owned business certification? Are you trying to apply for an MBE, Minority Business Enterprise certification? Are you trying to apply for a specific certification according to your state standards? For instance, the other certification here in Ohio, besides the MBE, Minority Business Enterprise certification, is called the EDGE, which is spelled EDGE as you would think, EDGE, and it stands for Encouraging Diversity and Growing Equity Education. You have those that are small business certification specified if your business is going to be located in an airport, let's say. There's a certain certification you have to apply as far as that is concerned. If you are trying to perform business as a small business in your city, what specified city certifications do you have to apply for as a small business or to be a vendor? Make sure you check those out. There could be requirements as far as in your municipality. There could be requirements as far as your township. There are certain situations in which your small business needs to be certified in a particular neighborhood. There's that. You have those small business certifications if you served in the military forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, wherever the case may be. The certification as far as a veteran business owned or even a disabled veteran business owned. Those are certifications as well. So make sure you check that out. In addition to that, check out the definitions and the terminology. A lot of small business certifications do have their own lingo, I should say, and their own language. So it may be hard to understand, but make sure you research it thoroughly or get the assistance of some place that will help you with it. Some of the places include a local chamber of commerce. Some places include, if there are places that will hold special workshops on getting small business certifications, make sure you check those out. Some are free, some are at cost. Make sure you check those out. And in the midst of that, when you're there, ask a lot of questions to make sure you understand what are the requirements for some of these small business certifications. There might be some that you are qualified for and not qualified for. Make sure you check that out ahead of time. If you are applying for, let's say, a women business owned certification, make sure that business is a women-owned business, a woman-owned. There's women-owned and women-run. Let me break that down. There's a difference between women owned and women run. Just because a small business may have a woman or some women at the helm, that does not mean that it's a woman-owned business. If it's a woman-owned business, a woman-owned business is where a woman owns 51 or more percent of that business. The ownership belongs to a woman or some women. Sometimes the 51% is split up if there's more than one woman running, one woman owning the business, I should say. Let me make sure I don't confuse that. If there is more than one woman owning that business, a woman-run business, maybe you have 5, 6 women who are running it, and let's say as the managers or supervisors or whatever. But the owner of that business, the 51% of the owner of the business is a male figure. Woman-owned business, woman-ran business. Make sure that is clarified and clear. I want to mention that with the minority business enterprise, there is the minority business enterprise where it's 51% or more ownership. And there have been situations in which, yes, maybe a good portion of the company or the business is ran by those of the classified minority races, but the ownership is someone that is a non-minority. The 51% is owned by someone of a non-minority race. Now, this is not a differentiation between what's good, what's bad, whatever. This is just information and clarity. When you're checking on that, and I'm glad I'm mentioning this, make sure that you understand whoever or whatever entity is doing the small business certification. You check their website and make sure you understand their definition of minority in the classes that they have. Because if you don't, it's going to make it more of a problem instead of a solution when it comes to applying for your small business certifications. Another thing as far as the qualifying of a small business, how long do you have to be in business in order to qualify? You have requirement for some small business certifications. The requirement is a minimum of a year. You have some, maybe the requirements are as far as a minimum of 6 months, let's say. There are those that do certify small businesses that if you're close to the year, let's say 7, 8 months, and you have proven records or information that you have been in business for that long, if you meet the qualifications, they'll give leeway to that. But you have to meet that entity's qualifications in order to do that. What do these small business certifications look like? When you find one you're interested in, kind of peruse through the application, see what they ask for, name, address, phone number, who's the CEO, how many employees, what's the physical location of that small business, how long have you been in business, the comparison, contrast of the financials. That could be a difficult part for some people. If there are those small business certifying entities that give help with that, seek that out. Why do I use entities a lot? I use entities a lot because it's not always the Chamber of Commerce that gives assistance. It might be another social service organization. It might be a business let's say, entrepreneurship community group that will give help for that. So make sure you check the sources in your area. Take the time and break down applying for small business certifications in small chunks, because you do have some small business certifications that ask a lot of questions. Some can be as much as close to a 10-page certification form. I've seen that. Some can be maybe double-sided. I've seen that as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of small business certifications now are electronic, or where you have to save it as what's called a PDF, or a printable document form. Download it, print out the PDF, and kind of fill out the information, kind of like a scratch sheet or something like that, because you want to make sure you have the information saved and everything in one place. There could be times during the application process you're going to have to be looking for information for this question or that question. So you got to plan your time out as far as that is concerned. The process when it comes to when you're complete, before you click that submit button, you have everything there. Before you click that submit button, if you see the opportunity to print anything out, print it out first before you click submit. Depending on the certification that you're applying for, it could be where they ask you not only to send it via the internet, but they also want a printed version of what you applied for, plus those materials that you attach as well. It could be everything from the budget sheets. It could be everything from any previous certifications that you have. It could be, you know, maybe an awards that that certification is requesting for you to submit. Not only do you need to submit that information electronically or via the internet, but you also need to submit it physically, which means it needs to be a printed out form that needs to be mailed out. You have where the printed out version wasn't made, therefore a lot of information had been lost and maybe some mistakes have been made. You have these small business entities who are doing the certifying who don't have that a lot of time to do that, and they don't have a large amount of staff to do that. So go through thoroughly through all the forms, through all that's a question of what's being asked of you. Finally, I want to conclude by saying, when you are checking out these small business certifications, check them out as far as when the certification period ends. For some small business certifications, you're certified forever. Some other small business certifications, you're certified for a year, in which you have a renewal time to reapply. You have those, maybe it's half a year, but you have to check that information to make sure that you have that. If you have any questions, here's the Twitter handler right here, YCN as in Nancy, OTLLC 05. Tweet me if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions on what I should cover on part 2. You can email me, mzpresceo@yourcomputerneeds.net. If you have any questions, you can go on Facebook, facebook.com/YCNOTLLC05. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me here on Blab. You can find me on Pinterest. Google Your Computer Needs of Tilio LLC, or you can go to the site as well. Amber Hawkins, Your Computer Needs of Tilio LLC. Thank you, and bye-bye.